Hey everybody, can you all see how red and yellow that map looks? That's our Canopy Height map, and usually most of the map looks a lot more like the areas to the north of the map, where it's more blue and green. That's indicating taller trees. So when I looked at this map, and almost the entire property was yellow and red, with the exception of a few of the coves, I thought to myself, man, either there's got to be really short trees, or this was harvested, or it burnt really hard not too long ago and is now just regenerating. Well, I looked at our other maps, which kind of show if there's any old roads or any road cuts throughout the property, and there were none. So that led me to think, well, those might just be really short trees, which indicates that the trees are short because of environmental conditions, most likely. So when I got here in southeastern Buncombe County, I saw that there is a lot of rocks in the soil, and it is really dry. And that is probably why these trees are so short. And it leads to really interesting ecosystems. So right now, I am in a pretty dense cove of pitch pines, but also table mountain pines, which is really awesome to see because they're not super common around here, especially with fire suppression. So they were probably most likely able to survive in this kind of environment because it was dry and they were able to compete the best with all the surrounding vegetation, and so was able to get the upper hand. The problem is that a lot of them are kind of getting old. Like the one I'm leaning up against right now is probably about 20 inches in diameter, and it is starting to die. You can see the crown is getting sparse. You can see that there's fewer needles on them, and the base is rotten and all sorts of things like that. And so these pines are starting to die, but they're not able to regenerate very well because there's not a lot of open ground. First of all, there's a thick shrub layer of mountain laurel, and there is a relatively dense or thick layer of leaf litter that is preventing some of these pines to regenerate. Most notably, though, pitch pines a little bit, but especially table mountain pines cannot regenerate without fire. Their cones are serotinous, which means is that they are sealed by a resin that only opens up by extreme heat, which is around here most commonly, or has most commonly been caused by fire in the past. So the fact that this ecosystem has not seen fire is causing a lot of these trees to slowly die. The pitch pines seem to be regenerating a little bit. There's a few, and they can often do without fire, not too well. Table mountain pines, on the other hand, have a really hard time doing without fire. So there's the question, how do you know that there used to be fire here? Well, first of all, it's well known that across the whole southeast, in oak-dominated and pine-dominated ecosystems, that fire used to be a natural disturbance regime that kept these ecosystems healthy. Second of all, there is evidence. Right over there, I am seeing an old stem or stump that has some charring on it, which leads me to think, hey, this area burnt probably quite a while ago, thinking of how old some of these trees might be. It's kind of hard to tell. But, so that says, well, this burnt, and after that, these trees regenerated. But since then, you can see all the shrubs around here have grown up, and it's been a long time since fire's been here, and the Table Mountain pines are starting to decline. We need to bring fire back into this ecosystem so that the Table Mountain pine that is so common here, or so uncommon here but should be more common here, can regenerate and not follow the canopy to disappear from the landscape. So I was really excited to come up here and see the pine just cresting over the ridge. So I came over in here to poke around a little bit. So we're definitely going to try to recommend a controlled burn for this landowner. Often access might be a little difficult, but I'm starting to think of ways that you can use some of the existing roads and some of the ridge lines on his property to make that happen. Fire would certainly help this ecosystem get back on the right track and help a lot of species, both plants and wildlife alike. So I'm still at the beginning of the day. I just got too excited, so I had to tell you all about this. But I got to keep going now, and still got about 100 acres to go.